At 2:13 a.m., the number on Daniel's phone changed. He hadn't touched it. No transfers, no purchases, no notifications. It just shifted. 8,400 and $70 became 8,000 and 17.92 cents. Daniel stared at the screen, waiting for it to blink back. It didn't. He refreshed the app, logged out, logged back in. Same number, $4.25. Gone. Not stolen, not charged, not even acknowledged. Just missing. He lay there in the dark, phone lighting up his face, trying to remember what he'd bought that day. Nothing. He closed the app, told himself he was tired, and tried to sleep. 3 days later, Maria stood at a grocery store checkout, watching the car reader think. It approved the payment, then declined it. She tried again, declined. Her account balance said $1,203. The receipt from the ATM outside said $1,198. The cashier waited. The line behind her grew quiet. Maria opened her banking app. It showed a list of tiny charges she didn't recognize. A service adjustment, account maintenance, foreign transaction fee. She hadn't left her city in 6 years. Each charge was small, $5. $1.89. They looked harmless, but together they were the difference between groceries and no groceries. She paid in cash. On the way home, she did the math. Those fees added up to $312 last year. She earned $400, 3% of her income gone. Across town, in a glass building with tinted windows, a different set of numbers moved. A bank executive watched. A dashboard filled with green. Millions of microtransactions, millions of rounding differences, millions of adjustments, each one invisible by itself. Together, a river he sipped. His coffee, the system was working. Elliot retired at 65. He had done everything right. Saved consistently, avoided debt, kept his money in a high-interest savings account. The brochure said 3.5%. Sounded generous. He checked his balance every month like a ritual. It kept growing, slowly, reassuringly. What Elliot never checked was the price of everything else: milk, rent, medication, electricity. They rose faster than his balance. By the time he noticed, his savings bought 23% less than it had 10 years earlier. The bank sent him a congratulatory email. Your money is working for you. Elliot laughed out loud. It felt like a joke written by someone who had never been old. In a small office above a bakery, Hassan stared at a loan statement. He had borrowed $40,000 to open his cafe. 5-year term, reasonable rate. The total he had paid so far, $18,700. The amount he still owed, $38,400. He thought it was a typo. He called the bank. The woman on the phone spoke gently. That's just how amortization works. Hassan didn't know what that word meant. He just knew that 5 years of payments had barely touched the debt. He hung up and sat there, listening to the bakery downstairs sell bread. The smell made him sick. Daniel's $4 never came back. But something else happened instead. Every month, his balance drifted lower than it should have. Not dramatically, just wrong. He started keeping notes. What he deposited, what he withdrew, what remained. And the gap widened. $1 here, $3 there, sometimes 12. He went to his branch. The banker smiled the way people do when they are about to end a conversation. Everything looks correct on our end. Daniel asked where the money went. The banker turned the screen toward him. A wall of tiny line items, interest adjustment, liquidity fees, overdraft protection, even when he hadn't overdrafted. Daniel felt stupid for not understanding, which was the point. One night, a janitor named Louis sat in his car after a double shift. He checked his balance, $27. Payday was tomorrow, he exhaled then. His phone buzzed. Account maintenance fee, $15. His balance dropped to $12. Louis laughed. It came out wrong. He didn't know that his bank had lent out the money he deposited that morning. He didn't know it had been used to underwrite a corporate loan. He didn't know that the same dollar now existed in 3 places at once. He only knew he couldn't buy gas. Behind the scenes, Daniel's money wasn't resting in a vault. It wasn't waiting for him. It was moving, being lent, relent, stacked into portfolios used as collateral. Every dollar he saw on his app screen had multiple owners, claims layered on top of claims. He believed he had a balance. The bank believed it had capital. A hedge fund believed it had exposure. All of them were right, until one of them wasn't. Maria Googled her bank's quarterly report. It announced record profits. She searched for the word fees. It appeared 214 times. She searched for the word customers. It appeared 9. Hassan's cafe closed in its 3rd year. He sold the espresso machine for $4,000, put it toward the loan. His balance dropped by $2,300. The rest went to interest. Elliot's doctor raised his fees. His pension didn't. His savings account earned another $100 and $14 that year. Inflation took $2,900. Bank sent another congratulatory email. One afternoon, Daniel noticed something strange. When the bank raised interest rates, his credit card bill rose immediately. His savings rate didn't change for 4 months. When inflation spiked, his purchasing power dropped instantly. His interest payments crawled upward like they were tired. He realized that timing always favored the bank, always. In a conference room downtown, executives discussed customer stickiness, how unlikely people were to leave their bank, how confusing transfers were, how exhausting it felt to start over. They called it friction. They loved friction. Louis overdrafted by $3 buying bread. The bank charged him. Balance became negative. They charged him another $35. He paid $70. $3 for a loaf of bread. Daniel finally understood something that made his stomach tighten. The money in his account wasn't money. It was a promise, a liability on someone else's spreadsheet, a number that could be changed by policy, by fee, by inflation, by a keyboard stroke. He had lent his labor to his employer. His employer had paid him. He had lent that payment to his bank. The bank had lent it again and again and again. Everyone in the chain was earning interest except him. The bank down the street put up a new sign, "Your money is safe with us." Inside, a printer hummed, "New loans, new derivatives, new leverage, old deposits, same deposit." Elliot passed away quietly in his sleep. His daughter closed his account. The bank charged a final maintenance fee. Maria opened a second job. Hassan moved back in with his parents. Louis started paying everything in cash. Daniel kept his balance just above zero, not because he wanted to, because he didn't trust the number anymore. In some way, right now, a number on a screen is changing. Not dramatically, not enough to trigger an alert. Just enough that you won't notice. Just enough that you'll blame yourself. And by the time you finally ask where it all went, you'll realize your money never really stayed with you at all.